Energy starts in the thoughts, no longer in armies, cash, or titles. A weak mind will sabotage even the most powerful body. A disciplined thoughts can command countries. Machiavelli never trusted emotions. He noticed them as tools to be used against others, but never allowed to rule oneself. Folks who permit anger, love, or fear guide them are puppets. Folks who cut those strings turn out to be masters. The sector does not care how hard you attempt or how top you are. It rewards folks that see reality as its far bloodless, unforgiving, and complete of opportunities for those formidable enough to capture them. This isn't about becoming encouraged. Motivation is for the herd that is approximately turning into untouchable. You will learn how to harden your thoughts, sharpen your judgment, and manipulate yourself so absolutely that no person else ever can. Most people will by no means do that. They are too soft, too desperate to be liked. However, in case you're still here, you're no longer the majority. Show it. Like this video, subscribe, and display the arena you're robust enough to handle what comes next. Weak spot would not start in the body. It starts within the thoughts. The first chain that binds you is invisible. The need to be customary, approved, and applauded. That is the chain Machiavelli could inform you to interrupt first, because it makes you predictable, and predictable people are clean to manipulate. Look around you. The general public stay like prisoners who don't even see the bars. They worry approximately who likes them, who follows them, who whispers about them. Each flow they make is dictated via worry of losing approval, but approval is worthless. It's a leash, and whoever holds it controls you. Machiavelli taught that a prince ought to rule himself earlier than he regulations others. That means slicing off each mental attachment that weakens your judgment. Prevent craving validation. Prevent letting other human beings' critiques dictate your mood. The instant you stop searching for permission to suppose, you turn out to be risky. Ask yourself, do you say what you accept as true with, or what human beings expect to hear? Do you pick your personal route, or do you await applause earlier than you move? Every hesitation, each compromise is some other shackle. Whilst you destroy this weak spot, people experience it. They sense you can't be bribed with compliments or managed by using disgrace. They may now not like you. And that's the factor. Machiavelli warned that it's far some distance more secure to be feared than loved, because love is given freely and withdrawn freely. However, worry is rooted in respect. When your thought stops chasing affection, it instructions respect without asking. Breaking your intellectual chains is not approximately becoming reckless. It's approximately becoming untouchable. The opinions of others ought to be like wind. You feel it, however, it in no way actions you. When you reach this state, you start to see how without difficulty human beings are manipulated by using their starvation for approval. You may see colleagues desperate for popularity, leaders frightened of criticism, buddies bending themselves to match in. And you'll upward thrust above they all because their chains are nevertheless intact at the same time as yours lie shattered at the floor. However, do now not expect applause for this change. People will resent your freedom because it exposes their slavery. They'll call you bloodless, arrogant, or even ruthless. Properly, let them talk. Machiavelli could let you know that is a signal you're now not underneath their control. The first victory isn't always over the arena. It's over yourself. Kill your want to be liked, and you kill the primary weak point each ruler, warrior, and thinker have to overcome. Only then can you begin to shape fact instead of being shaped with the aid of it. Most people stay like prey. They test the sector for threats, hoping no longer to be noticed, hoping now not to be selected because the target. Their first notion in every selection is, what if I fail? What if someone judges me? What if I lose? That is the voice of prey, a thought's conditioned to react, not to act. Machiavelli despised this mentality as it leaves you at risk of everybody inclined to transport first. A predator does no longer watch for permission. does no longer freeze underneath strain, and does now not waste time worrying about being favored. A predator actions with motive. To assume like a predator, you need to train your thoughts to ask different questions. In which is the weak spot? What can I take? How can I move earlier than anyone else sees the whole? This doesn't suggest becoming reckless or cruel. It approach turning into strategic. Instead of ready to peer how the arena will treat you, you decide how you'll deal with the sector. Look at how humans perform in commercial enterprise, politics, even non-public relationships. Most hesitate, they overthink. They wait for someone else to make the primary circulate, and by the time they react, the opportunity is long gone. Machiavelli recommended rulers to act decisively while fortune opens a door. Now not to stand out of doors debating whether they need to input. A predator's thoughts is proactive, now not reactive. It researched the sphere lengthy earlier than the assault. It notices styles, weaknesses, and possibilities others pass over because they're too busy traumatic approximately themselves. And when the moment involves strike, it movements without hesitation. This mentality applies to the whole lot. Your profession, your relationships, your targets. Forestall asking what if I fail and start asking what happens if I in no way strive. What takes place if I let a person weaker take what might have been mine? That worry have to force you more than failure ever ought to. However, here's the essential difference. A predator is calm. It does now not rush blindly at its target. It calculates, it stalks, and it chooses the right moment. That is where an mental subject subjects. In case you permit anger or desperation pressure you, you forestall wondering like a predator and start wondering like prey once more, chasing as a substitute of selecting. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the bold, but boldness without calculation is suicide. You ought to construct the addiction of moving forward while others freeze, but always with precision. Do now not strike every goal. Strike simplest the ones well worth taking. Do now not chase every possibility. Seize simplest those that make stronger your function. Humans will word when you begin questioning this way. They'll experience it. Whilst they're busy worrying approximately being judged, you are already 3 moves in advance. While they may be scared of taking dangers, you have already placed yourself to gather the reward. This creates an invisible strength. Others start to comply with your lead because you appear to realize in which you are going. Most importantly, predators do no longer explain themselves. They do no longer justify their ambition, their actions, or their victories. They virtually act, and the arena adjusts. In case you want to emerge as mentally risky, stop broadcasting your plans, prevent asking for approval, and prevent anticipating a person to provide you the green light. You deliver yourself permission, no one else. Machiavelli's prince understood that hesitation is demise. So must you. Kill the prey mentality internal you. Replace worry with approach, hesitation with movement, and excuses with effects. While you suppose like a predator, the sector stops feeling like a risk and starts off-evolved looking like an open subject complete of possibilities ready as a way to take them. Strength that may be seen is power that may be countered. Machiavelli understood this better than all and sundry. A prince who indicates all his intentions invites resistance. A warrior who displays his weapons offers his enemies time to prepare. Authentic electricity hides in plain sight, calm, quiet, and underestimated. The majority make the fatal mistake of broadcasting their feelings and aims. They want credit score for every pass they make. They inform the world what they are making plans. Questioning this may earn them admiration. In reality, it only offers others the map to sabotage them. In case you want to become mentally unbreakable, you have to learn to conceal your inner global mental disguise approach. Nobody ever sincerely knows what you're questioning, feeling, or making plans. You have to educate yourself to appear calm while you are livid, confident whilst you are unsure, and indifferent whilst you are deeply involved. Whilst human beings can't examine you, they cannot control you. Think of the electricity in this. Whilst others are indignant, they explode. All of us sees their weakness. Whilst you are irritated, you show nothing. While others are excited, they display what they want and can be manipulated. When you are excited, you act as though not anything topics. This terrifies human beings as it makes you unpredictable. Machiavelli counseled rulers to seem virtuous whilst secretly performing in their own interest. You can follow the identical precept on your mentality, appear open, agreeable, even harmless, whilst inside you are calculating each angle. Humans loosen up around someone who seems easy to read. They decrease their defend, giving you records, displaying you their weaknesses. By the point they comprehend you are now not as easy as they concept. It is too past due. This isn't always about living a lie. It's about controlling what you display. You decide what humans see, not your feelings. You may snicker whilst you're planning. You can nod while you are disagreeing. You can show hobby at the same time as feeling nothing. Each reaction will become a aware desire, no longer an involuntary leak. The greater disciplined your cover, the extra people underestimate you, and underestimation is one of the finest advantages in life. Machiavelli could let you know it's far less complicated to defeat an opponent who doesn't take you severely. Let them assume you're innocent, distracted, or naive. In the meantime, you're amassing leverage, making ready your circulate. However, there is every other layer. Hide protects you from assaults. While no person is aware of what offends you, they cannot provoke you. While no one knows what you love, they cannot bribe you. Whilst no one is aware of your fears, they cannot threaten you. A concealed thought is a citadel without doors. Exercise this in each interplay. Whilst someone asks approximately your plans, supply a solution that asserts not anything. Whilst a person tries to anger you, provide them silence. When a person praises you, accept it frivolously without showing the way you definitely sense. Each time you do this, you weaken their grip on you. Ultimately, people forestall, looking to control you altogether because they cannot discern out in which to push. You become a mystery, and mystery breeds admire. Machiavelli knew that uncertainty is a shape of energy. Human beings worry what they can't expect. The purpose is simple: be clean to meet, not possible to recognize. Let your feelings serve you in personal. By no means expose them in public. Permit your objectives guide you in mystery, no longer as a banner to wave. By the point anybody realizes what you're constructing, it is already finished and unassailable. Mastering mental disguise isn't always about being faux. It is approximately being sovereign over your own mind. And whilst no one can read your thoughts, nobody can chain it. The general public secretly wish to be pied. They want sympathy after they fail, consolation while they may be vulnerable, and applause after they clearly endure. But Machiavelli understood this yearning as poison. Pity draws condescension. Pity draws predators. People who inspire it are never without a doubt respected. A powerful mind does now not beg for information. It instructions attention. It radiates an air of mystery that announces, I do no longer need your assist. I do now not need your kindness, and I will now not bend for your judgment. That air of secrecy, whilst genuine, produces something a long way more valuable than love. Here, Machiavelli famously wrote that it's miles more secure to be feared than cherished. The general public misinterpret this as a call to cruelty. It isn't about terrorizing others. It is about turning into so steady, so untouchable that no person dares to test your limits. When your thoughts is disciplined, you do no longer lash out emotionally. You do now not plead for validation, and that calm self-calm and unsettles human beings. They recognize they cannot sway you with flattery, guilt, or threats. Think about the people you've met who seem impossible to rattle. They hardly ever improve their voices. But after they communicate, absolutely everyone listens. They do not brag about their electricity. They certainly project it. That's what it means to be mentally fearsome. To build this kind of mind, you should dispose of every signal of desperation. In no way allow all of us see you crave approval, love, or even fairness. Do now not argue to your worth. Exhibit it by means of by no means reducing yourself to beg. If a person disrespects you, do now not explode with anger. Do no longer whine for justice. Certainly withdraw your favor, your presence, or your cooperation and watch them feel the loss. Machiavelli counseled princes to punish betrayal quick and reward loyalty strategically, not emotionally. Apply this to your very own mind. Do now not supply humans unlimited access to you. Do now not provide limitless forgiveness. Make your tolerance uncommon and your barriers absolute. While humans recognize you can't be manipulated with kindness, that you may stroll away without hesitation, they begin to worry dropping your presence. Fear in this context isn't approximately making others cower. It is about setting up a mental weight. Humans sense it after they can't push you round. Once they cannot expect your reaction, they technique with warning, with admire, due to the fact they sense that checking out you comes with effects. Evaluation this with the mentality of those who beg for expertise. They wear their wounds overtly hoping a person will care, and perhaps a person will for some time. However, in the end, they're usually depending on others for their feel of well-worth. Mackie could name that risky. In case your fee comes from others, they could take it away at any moment. As an alternative, make your value undeniable. Build your competence, your field, your emotional control till it will become not possible to disregard. Allow your silence talk louder than other human beings is shouting. Allow your presence carry more weight than their demands. While you inspire worry, you stop being in choice. You come to be a fixed reality like a fortress nobody dares to assault directly. People who would exploit your weak spot will suppose 2 times, and people who appreciate energy will seek your alliance. Do no longer confuse this with cruelty. A cruel guy lashes out because he's insecure. A feared man acts with precision, by no means from impulse. His electricity is not noise, it's far manipulate. Machiavelli's prince did now not want to be loved because love is fickle. He only had to be reputable, and worry is the shest form of respect. In case you truly want to end up a mentality monster, stop broadcasting weak spot. Forestall inviting pity and begin schooling your thoughts to be a citadel, a fortress that does not beg to be understood. It genuinely stands unshaken even as others calculate how to technique. Energy isn't a identify. It isn't a throne, a crown, or a badge on your chest. Actual energy is invisible. It is the capability to bend events and those on your will without them even figuring out it. Machiavelli knew this nicely. The maximum dangerous prince is the one who does no longer appear like a prince at all. Most of the people chase seen electricity, status, fame, recognition. They want everyone to see them triumphing. However, the moment you crave seen strength, you supply others the weapon to spoil you, their approval. They are able to take it away. They could turn it into criticism, scandal, or sabotage. Visible strength is fragile. Invisible electricity is unique. It would not want applause. It does not want permission. Its effect without display. The potential to move pieces on the board without all of us understanding your hand is on them. This is what Machiavelli would call actual mastery, ruling without ever being crowned. To build this kind of power, you want 2 matters: control over yourself and leverage over others. You already found out how to interrupt your intellectual chains, to suppose like a predator, to put on a cover. Now you should learn how to form the sphere so others circulate the way you need willingly. Leverage would not continually mean cash or position. Records is leverage. Trust is leverage. The easy fact that human beings accept as true with you are calm under stress is leverage. They may look to you for steerage when they panic. A person who would not need approval, who acts with precision, who hides his intentions, turns into a herbal middle of gravity. People orbit around him without even understanding why. Machiavelli warned leaders never to depend solely on affection due to the fact affection modifications with the wind. As an alternative, he advised creating a recognition for power, decisiveness, and manipulate. When people appreciate your thoughts greater than they prefer your character, you gain something much harder to lose: authority. This is how you rule without a crown. You do not want popularity to guide. You absolutely roll yourself so others grow to be following. In conferences, you turn out to be the only who speaks last, listens longest, and strikes with clarity when others hesitate. In friendships, you emerge as the one who stays calm at the same time as everybody else is emotional, the anchor they hold to. In existence, you come to be the only who creates possibilities rather than waits for them. However, do not forget, the instant you boast approximately your energy, it weakens. The instant you call for reputation, you prove you need it. A ruler who needs to announce his authority already fears dropping it. Machiavelli could inform you to keep your quiet. Permit others agree with they determined things themselves, and you may never face riot. When you grasp this mentality, you no longer fight for attention. Humans genuinely supply it to you. You not chase have an impact on, it comes to you. You not want to reveal your strength. It's felt in each decision you are making. This is what it means to be a mentality monster. Not loud, no longer determined, not frantic, however cold, strategic, and untouchable. You do now not react to the world. You shape it. You do no longer beg for recognize. You command it in silence. And also you do no longer need a crown to rule. Because authentic power does not need to be visible to be actual. In case you're geared up to forestall living like prey, and begin shaping your international like a prince. Don't forget this. Machiavelli's understanding most effective topics if you act on it. Ruin your chains, suppose like a predator, where your hide. Rule your existence without asking for permission. You have just walked through an intellectual transformation that the majority will in no way even strive. Let's burn it into your reminiscence and ensure it by no means fades. First, you broke your intellectual chains. You stopped being a prisoner to approval, applause, and different people's opinions. You discovered that the instant you stop seeking permission to suppose, you grow to be dangerous. Susceptible people crave validation. Effective people kill that craving and replace it with readability. Second, you constructed a predator's mind. 4, you abandoned the gentle, reactive mind, set of prey, and changed it with cold awareness and calculated aggression. You stopped walking from troubles and commenced looking for opportunities. You learned that electricity isn't approximately anger or chaos. It's approximately discipline, method, and the willingness to behave at the same time as others hesitate. Third, you hardened your will. You trained yourself to endure pain, to keep moving when the entirety inner you screams to quit. You found that the general public fold under strain not because they may be incapable, but due to the fact they lack intellectual longevity. You decided to become unbreakable, the one who stays status when every person else falls apart. Fourth, you mastered psychological disguise. You found out that seen power is easy to counter, however hidden energy terrifies humans. You educated yourself to control your feelings, to show not anything except you pick out to. You have become unreadable, untouchable, a castle without doors. Fifth, you discovered to rule without a crown. You observed that real power would not need titles, applause, or recognition. Genuine influence is silent. You stopped chasing attention and commenced shaping truth, positioning yourself so others follow you willingly, even if they do not recognize they're doing it. You understood that victory introduced too loudly invites enemies. However, victory saved quiet will become permanent. All of this leads to one truth. Strength isn't always something you're given. It is something you're taking via studying yourself first. Machiavelli might inform you that rulers aren't selected. They emerge due to the fact they have the braveness to do what others might not. They have got minds that can't be bent, wills that cannot be damaged, and techniques that no person sees coming until it's too overdue. Now, this isn't just principle. If you follow even a fragment of what you have found out here, you'll experience the trade almost straight away. Humans will experience you've stopped desiring them. They'll check you less because you not react to every push or insult. You will find yourself making choices faster with greater self-belief because you're no longer shackled by means of fear of judgment. However, take into account this, the world will not thanks for turning into effective. They'll try and shame you, label you, and pull you go into reverse to their degree. It truly is because your freedom exposes their chains. Live ruthless, stay centered, live invisible while you need to, decisive while it counts, and unyielding usually. This is not pretty much turning into successful. It is approximately becoming so mentally strong that achievement is inevitable. You have constructed the muse, a thoughts that cannot be damaged, a will that cannot be swayed, and a presence that commands respect without asking for it. If you've made it this some distance, you are now not like the majority. Most clicked away after the first couple of minutes because they have been uncomfortable hearing the fact. But you stayed due to the fact you understand comfort is the enemy, and you're geared up to do what it takes to dominate your own existence. Now it's time to act. Take those standards, follow them every single day. And if you need to hold sprucing your facet, to keep growing into the kind of man or woman no one can manage, then make sure you subscribe. Like this video, so more human beings can break out their chains. Or at the least, so they recognize who reduce yours. This sector will by no means see you coming.